UCF gave BYU the business in their own house and still barely moved in the net rankings. What's going on?
You are Locked On UCF, your daily podcast on the UCF Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome on in to Locked On UCF, your daily UCF podcast. I'm your host, Mike G. Thank you so much for making us your first listen of every day and for making Locked On the number one podcast network out there. Turn us on, turn us up. We'll turn it out. I'm here with my good friend, James Duncan, UCF sports commentator extraordinaire, to talk a little UCF basketball on today's segment. The Knights went on the road and slayed some cougar. They caught a cougar. They pulled a cougar. Whatever version of the cougar you need for this analogy, that's what they did, James. It was amazing. I was amazed. I know you were too. You felt good before the game, and we're going to talk about that. I'm going to let you take your victory lap on this one, my friend. I did not feel as good. As a matter of fact, I even picked BYU, much to my shame. I don't know why I did that. But I can tell you, today's show is brought to you by our title sponsor, 5 Hour Energy. Order now at 5hourenergy.com or get on Amazon. Find your favorite flavor. They are big-time sponsors of us, so we appreciate them. Let's start at the top with this one. It was a massively awesome game for UCF. They were hot out of the gate. How hot were they? Well, let's talk about it. 56% from the field. Here are the starters. Obviously, Foulkes comes through. We're getting used to that from him. Jordan Burks, a crazy 9 of 12 from the field. He put in 24 points, 4 of 7 from 3. Bowl had, an efficient night, right? 6 rebounds, 4 or 5 from the floor, 8 points. He was efficient. Stillwell, we'll get into him in a second here, but man, they really dominated this game from start to finish. I'm not sure BYU ever led in this game.
No, they did not.
This was a wire-to-wire win for the Knights. How impressed were you by this win? I thought it was going to be I thought it was going to be a tougher task for UCF than it was, but they went in there and they had what was their best shooting night of the year.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. UCF earlier this year in non-con set the single game 3-point record, I believe. And I thought after the first half, they were going to break it again and reset it against the number 19 team in the country. I mean, that would have been insane. But I thought that there was a chance that it would happen. It would have been awesome. But yeah, these guys came out the gate swinging. I mean, I checked the game because there was some issue with ESPN of it still being on the Arizona game. And then it loaded into the game and it was like 14-4. And I was like, what is going on with the Knights? Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
I genuinely, I can't believe that they came out the gate swinging like that. You talk about John Bull, like a pretty efficient night. He only had 19 minutes, didn't really play a lot in the second half, but in the first 4 minutes of the second half, or maybe in the first, I want to say 2 minutes in the second half, had 6 points on back-to-back-to-back dunks. And that's what you need from your big man. You need to kind of intimidate. They really played small ball because they didn't play a lot of Fumena either. Between Fumena and John Bull, only 25 minutes on the floor. They actually used Devin Cambridge as a big multiple times, which they've done a couple times this season. I don't necessarily agree with it, but and then having Jordan Burks kind of as a stretch big, who what a game for Jordan Burks. I mean, I know you wanted to talk about player of the game, and I kind of want to just go ahead and say mine because it's Jordan Burks. I know that UCF officially said Themis is the player of the game, and while I do agree with that, I think you have to look at the fact that Jordan Burks and Themis had roughly the same amount of points or the same amount of points. And Jordan Burks had half the shots.
He only took 12 shots.
Took 12.
I'll pull this back up here. He had 12 shots. Foulkes took 21 shots. And 10 of 21 is a good shooting night. I mean, that's nearly 50% from the field. So you'll take that almost any day of the week, James. But 24 points on 9 of 12 shooting is actually crazy. But again, the 3-pointers help. 4 of 7 from 3. He also rebounded, had a couple steals in there. This was a great game for Jordan Burks all the way around, I think. Now, if you're Foulkes, even though he didn't shoot like 75% from the field, but 11 assists. Come on, man! So his impact on the game was great. On scoring was great as well too. If you factor in assists. Look, man, these are two guys that you're going to need to step up because Stillwell got hurt in this one. What do we know about Ja'Michael Stillwell?
Well, I will say this, and credit to Matt Marshall for this stat. During the past 2 games, this is a quote from him. UCF is plus 23 in point differential when Ja'Michael is on the court, and minus 8 when he is on the bench.
Wow.
That is a massive difference in terms of plus or minus. In the tough losses that they have had, Ja'Michael Stillwell has either been out or did not play that many minutes. He's been battling this ankle foot injury kind of throughout the season. It kind of got him a little earlier in conference play, and he put on a boot for like 1 or 2 games and then came back in and has been very efficient. But it's hard to play the style of game that he plays, which is just super physical post domination basketball, getting every board, offensive glass, defensive glass, and expecting yourself not to maybe take a couple injuries. And this is something that has been re-aggravated. I think, when we look at the remaining schedule in our third segment, I think you might have to look at sitting him for one, if not all of those games, maybe even the Big 12 conference tourney, depending on how he's doing physically. I think that the priority needs to be on getting him healthy for March.
Yeah, I agree. Look, it was just such a great game. Again, domination by the Knights on the road. The type of message you hope sends the committee. Listen, if you think we're a bubble team, think again. We're not. We just went on the road and we whooped your number 20. Now, they didn't move as much in the net as I thought they would. They came into the game ranked 46 in the net. James, BYU was the number 20 ranked team in the net. They dropped to 21, but you only moved up to 44. Give me a break.
That doesn't make sense.
I don't get it. You're a 20-win team at this point in the season, and I honestly just don't understand. I don't understand this. Like Auburn is 15-13, and they're 35 in the net. Now they do have the number 1 ranked schedule in the country. They played like close to 20 quad 1 games or something crazy like that. But I don't understand it. I think UCF, the disrespect here is real to me. If you liked BYU that much, you got to give UCF more credit for not just going in and getting a win, but running them.
Running them without one of their leading point scorers, Riley Kugel.
Yeah, right. Come on.
I understand there was kind of like a trade-off with no Richie Saunders, no Riley Kugel, but if you had walked in and beat BYU without Richie Saunders, who, by the way, BYU just took down Iowa State, and it wasn't really all that close, and Iowa State's top 10 team. I mean, they did that without Richie Saunders. Now they take on UCF, and at one point it's 35-70. What? I mean, it doesn't make sense. Now, here's the thing. I think if they kept their foot on the gas, because I saw a post and it was like, AJ DeBonsa, unreal nuclear game against UCF, 29 points. I'm like, yeah, dude, 14 of those were at the end when Themis just said, go ahead and score because we don't want to foul you. We don't want to give you a 3. I'm like, it's just like, it doesn't make sense because once they closed that gap, getting beat by 14 is not great. But if they had gotten beat by 30, I think you move a little more than that.
Yeah, that's so misleading, right? Like I was going to say that it was a 13-point win, 97-84, but that did not take into this was a 30 burger. James, this was a 30 burger. They took the foot off the gas and just played, to essentially not get anybody hurt at the end. That was it. I mean, you spent 39 minutes and 14 seconds leading this game, 46 seconds tied, and you never trailed. Domination by the Knights. They're going to get into the tournament. I think that this was the game that sealed it. Again, we'll talk about the remaining schedule later. Let's get to the break, and when we come back, we're going to dig more into UCF being a tournament lock after this win. Hang with us, pay some bills. We'll be right back here on Locked On UCF. This episode of Locked On UCF is brought to you by our friends at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook and the official sports betting partner of the NBA. If you've ever wanted to experience the NBA Finals live and in person, FanDuel is giving you a chance to turn that dream into a reality with their NBA sweepstakes. Here's how it works. Use your profit boost on any NBA future, and you'll automatically be entered for a shot to win an NBA Finals trip for two. That's right, flights, ticket, the whole experience. If you're looking at the board and thinking about which team can make a deep run, this is the perfect time to lock it in. We love futures, whether it's picking a team to win a championship or just make a run at a conference title, as that little extra layer of excitement when you watch the game. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. Use your profit boost on an NBA future and get entered for your chance to win a trip to the NBA Finals. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA.
I'm Kalia Butler, host of Locked On Women's Basketball, and this is Mazda's Women's Basketball Snapshot, celebrating the work no highlight reel can ever capture. South Carolina rolled past Ole Miss 85-48 to clinch a share of the SEC regular season title and lock down the #1 seed in the conference tournament. The Gamecocks extended their win streak over Ole Miss to 21 straight. UCLA dominated Wisconsin 80-60 to secure its first outright Big Ten regular season championship in program history. The Bruins improved to 27-1 overall and remain unbeaten in conference play. And number 12 TCU stormed back from a 13-point fourth quarter deficit to beat Iowa State 80-73. The Horned Frogs now sit alone atop the Big 12 standings and are one win away from clinching another regular season conference crown. These moments are earned off the clock, those long before the lights ever come on. The sweat, the fakes, the doubt, the scrapes, and coming back for more every time. Mazda puts that same drive into every detail. Wins define the moment, putting in the work, that defines you. There's more to a Mazda because there's more to you.
Hey, don't forget to sign up for the UCF Everydayers Club. Just visit lockedonucf.supercast.com to get started today. When you sign up, you get access to an ad-free show. That's right, no ads. If you don't like ads, well, if you're an everydayer, you don't have to listen to them on audio. Also, our everydayers get access to a UCF fan exclusive Discord where you can chat with UCF fans 24/7. This is the UCF Everydayers Club. It's a great way to support the work that we're doing here at Locked On UCF by signing up, guys. I appreciate every single listener. Now, I know we ask a lot of you guys, so if you do anything at all, just continue to listen. But if you want to do a little extra, sign up for the Everydayers Club. It helps support the work that we're doing here. This should have sealed it. As I mentioned, the only thing that makes me a little worried is the lack of movement in the net. But hopefully the people with eyes that can see what happened out in Utah. ESPN had an article. We talked about this, an article, that their Bubble Watch article, where they talked about the should be in and the locks and who's in and who's out. Revisiting that Bubble article, I wanted to check back in to see, what they thought about the Knights now. Are they in? Are they out? Right. I'll remind our listeners, if you missed that segment, right? The locks were Arizona, Iowa State, Houston, Kansas, Texas Tech, and BYU, who they just got absolutely destroyed by UCF. And still in the should be in column is UCF. Now, this article has not been updated as of 8:05 yesterday, as far as UCF is concerned. But we're hoping that they move them into the lock column as well, too. I just don't see how they're not in at 20-7. They are now 5-5 in quad ones, 5-2 in quad twos, and they have not lost a quad 3 or 4 game. So a 20-7 UCF in a Big 12 that is absolutely stacked. Again, how stacked are they? Well, here are the updated standings after the win. UCF supplanting BYU in that 6th spot. Ranked right ahead of them is an 11-4 in conference. These are the conference records here. Texas Tech team that they also beat, might I add. And you've got, and these are the Big 12 order. Kansas right over them at 11-4, Houston 11-4, Iowa State at 11-4, and Arizona at 13-2. Correct me if I'm wrong, but UCF has played all 5 teams ranked ahead of them right now, right? We know they played Texas Tech, Arizona, Iowa State. They beat Kansas. Did they play Houston? I think they played Houston.
They played. We lost pretty bad at Houston. That was the 2-game stretch of Cincinnati and Houston where we weren't sure what was going on. But yeah, UCF.
You're 2-3 versus the top
BYU, and they beat Kansas. They beat Texas Tech. You took 2 difficult losses at Iowa State and Houston, and you had a very, very questionable
West Virginia
loss at Arizona. When Arizona came to town. That was a very close game decided by very close calls that I don't particularly agree with, but you played Arizona really tight and you beat Kansas and Texas Tech.
This is what it looked like before the game, right before all the games that we saw. Obviously, Arizona was sitting there clearly at the top. This is what it looks like after here. So, I mean, you've got your "we are terrible" there. I know Baylor is 14th ahead of Kansas and Utah, but they suck and they're terrible and I hate them. So they're really the worst team in the conference. As a matter of fact, I don't even think they belong in the Big 12. They should just be off the graphic. I'm just going to leave a blank spot where Baylor should be whenever we do graphics now. I really hate them.
Mike, they took Arizona down to the wire.
They did. I was like, no, I can't let anything good happen to them.
There's not 100% of me that feels necessarily fantastic about that game on Saturday. Now, I will say, that it's not the end of the world. I feel like if we played in Waco, maybe I'd be a little bit more stressed.
Okay,
but this is a home game. Like all the guys are posting on Twitter, like it's a whiteout. It's a whiteout. So if you're going to the game, you better wear white.
Okay, it's whiteout.
I will be there. But holy smokes, man! If beating BYU, Texas Tech, TCU, Kansas, Texas A&M in College Station, if those wins don't get you into the tournament, Mike, what does get you into the tournament? I just want to know, because to me, it seems like UCF is a lock.
They should be a lock.
UCF should be a top 35 net team. I don't know what, is there just a lack of respect? I mean, you guys tell us down in the comments how you feel about that, but I feel disrespected.
It can't be strength of schedule, right?
No, because we're in the Big 12. We play every top 10 team.
I would say if you look at UCF schedule, you'd have a hard time looking at that conference schedule. Plus, in the non-con, didn't they play Texas A&M?
Yeah, Texas A&M in College Station, and they beat them.
Yeah, and
you played Vandy. You lost. I think that team now might beat Vandy. I think now that the team's together, I think they might beat Vandy.
Well, Vandy is now 17. They're 17 in the net, so they fell a couple spots. And Texas A&M is 42 in the net, so they're still ranked over you, and you beat them. They're 20-19. You're 20-7. I'm sorry. They're 19-9. I'm sorry. You're 20-7. There's no way for me to take this, but as disrespect. I'm sorry. Like I'm trying to find the holes in the schedule. You had some tough non-conference game. You played Texas A&M and Vanderbilt in your non-conference, and then you open your conference schedule with a win against Kansas, who the net seems to like. They're at 14. You beat number 15 net team in Texas Tech, right? They're currently 15. You played Houston, who is 10 in the net. You played Iowa State, who is 8 in the net. You played Arizona, who is 3 in the net. Are you seeing the pattern here? You played a bunch of top 15 net teams. And you got some other games that are right around in that top 60 area. Obviously, you're going to play Baylor right now. They're 50 in the net. They should be 200 in the net. I'm looking here, and I'm trying to find an argument for why they shouldn't be, and I can't find it
because it doesn't exist, Mike.
I can't find it.
I think honestly, you say screw the net, and you just say UCF's a tourney lock, and honestly, you win these next 3 games, and you kind of set the Big 12 on fire a little bit. You look at UCF a little bit differently, but we're gonna get to those games in the next segment. But you win those next 3, and you're on fire going into the tournament.
Speaking of the next 3, let's go ahead and get to our last segment where we'll talk about what's left on the schedule. What have they done? What do they have left to do? We'll talk about that next, right here on Locked On UCF. This episode of Locked On UCF is brought to you by our friends at Game Time. The biggest stretch of college basketball season is almost here. Buzzer beaters, bracket busters, and those unforgettable moments that everybody's talking about the next day. Being there live is something like that. That's bucket list that you probably still have left to do. I myself have been to a Final Four. I'm telling you, if you've never been, there's nothing like it. So look, the hard part is always getting tickets. Long queues, prices jumping around at checkout, and surprise fees. The Game Time app gives fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's incredibly simple to use. The Game Time guarantee means 100% legitimate tickets delivered on time. No scams. And if you don't know what that's like to buy something and find out later that it was a scam, it doesn't feel good, which is why it's important that you use Game Time, guys. You get the best price. And here's the best part. Fees are included in the price you see. What you see is what you pay, period. You get panoramic seat views so you know exactly what you're buying. And zone deals let you pick the section and save even more while Game Time selects the seats. I love being able to follow teams in the app and get alerts when new deals drop. So you can even get alerted when your favorite team's tickets go on sale. No stress, no guesswork, just a smooth experience from start to finish. That's exactly what you want during the busiest part of the season. Take the guesswork out of buying college basketball tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON, all one word, for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. This episode of Locked On UCF is also brought to you by our friends at 5 Hour Energy. Welcome to the 5 Hour Energy Flavor Draft, with 18 different flavors to choose from, including new options like Confetti Craze, Fruity Rainbow, and Cotton Candy. There's something for everyone. And I've got my number 1 pick for the 5 Hour Energy Draft. It's Confetti Craze. And let me tell you, I always need a lift. I suffer from an autoimmune disease. And so every once in a while, I need a little pickup. 5 Hour Energy always has my back. 5 Hour Energy shots give you a boost with zero sugar. 5 Hour Energy also has a lot of upcoming flavors that you might not even see yet. Again, get on that confetti craze, guys. Find your new favorite flavor of 5 Hour Energy shots available online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon. 5 Hour Energy. They've got you covered. The remaining schedule, as we talked about, this last 6 games, I want to give us our flowers here on this show. We talked about how important these last 6 games would be in terms of UCF kind of holding it together. They had a 7-game losing streak, James, in the middle of the season, right? And it was interesting.
No. It couldn't have been 7.
A 7-game losing streak right in the middle of the season.
UCF?
UCF did.
No.
UCF basketball lost 7 straight games.
Last year?
Last year.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about this year. I was like, oh, God.
No.
When did that happen?
No. They lost 7 games straight starting January 28th at Kansas.
That was brutal.
And this killed the season. Right. It killed the season and it was over after that. I talked a lot about how they had to avoid that slide this year. They've done it. They have done it. And so the last 6 games were so important because it was the only chance they had left to really blow this. I felt like it started versus TCU at home. They won that game by 11 points. They squeaked out a win on the road at Utah by 2. Easily could have lost that game, but they didn't. And then you go and you blow out BYU. Now, this was a quad 1 opportunity. Weirdly, I think going into last night, West Virginia was somehow still a quad 1 opportunity. I don't know if it still is. But because you got to be top 75 on the road for it to be a quad 1. Right now, West Virginia is sitting at 66. So, yeah, this is still a quad 1 opportunity for UCF. So Baylor comes in on the 28th, and then Oklahoma State right after them on the 3rd. You head out to West Virginia on Saturday, March the 6th. Winning, I said 22 wins. It would be my comfort zone in terms of making sure we're having no discussion going into the Big 12 conference tournament. 22 wins seems like a reality at this point, does it not? I mean, you just got to win one more to get to 21. If they finish 2-3 over these next 3 games, I mean, and if they get to 23 wins, we're good. I think we're Gucci at 23 wins.
Yeah, I think 23 wins. You definitely move up probably a seed in the tournament, and I think that would be very, very beneficial for UCF to knock out these last 3. It's something that I've noticed with this team is when they've got it going, they're good, but they're the only times that you've really there has been no point in this season, and I'm thankful for this. And because these are the things that kind of stagger seasons, there's been no loss on the entire schedule. There's been no loss. So after you've lost, on the entire schedule. So after you've lost, you've either come back with a win or you win on a little losing streak. And those losing streaks have only gotten to 2 and 3. You took a loss early in the season, 2nd game, and then you won however many straight. And then
West Virginia single loss. Yeah.
And then you took a single loss, and then you came back and you won more, and then you took 2 losses, but I mean they were against 1 and 9. That's okay. And then you won 1-1, and then loss against Houston, loss against Cincinnati, loss against West Virginia. People started panicking, but you got one back against TCU, and then you got one back against Utah. You go to BYU, you kick butt. There has been no loss, which is very important. You want a team that is consistent, and you have found consistency this year because you've been able to, field a team that is a team, not one guy, not Keyshawn Hall, not just Keyshawn Hall. You've been able to have multiple players out there on the court that can all get the job done. All right. And that is what you need in a tournament team, and a team that's going to be successful. Because listen, you're not going to have Themis Foulkes scoring 20 plus every night. You're not going to have Riley Kugel shooting 70% and pulling up off the dribble and making it every night. Sometimes those shots are not going to fall. That doesn't mean they're not good shots. It just means they're not falling. But if you have a guy like Jordan Burks who's consistently shooting 50+% from 3-point land, that's really nice. If you got the same kind of deal in George Beal and Carmelo Pacheco, those are 3 ace shooters right there.
Yeah.
Themis Foulkes can cash from outside. Kugel can cash from outside. Hell, even Ja'Michael Stillwell can cash from outside. You have guys all over the floor that can score in multiple different ways. You are a unit. You are a team. And that is why this team has been so consistent this year. I think, truthfully, Mike, go ahead and book it. They win these last 3.
Oh, you're calling 3-0 over the last.
I'm saying 3. I'm saying 3-0, and I think that they get it done even if Stillwell doesn't play. I think it's closer if Stillwell doesn't play, but if Stillwell plays, then those 3 are automatic for me. And here's the thing: they lost earlier. Like these last 2 games, Oklahoma State and West Virginia are teams that they've already lost to this season. Those are 2 of their 7 losses this year. And they're 2 of their least respected losses. They're both good teams, but UCF is better, and it's hard to beat a good team twice. It is extremely hard to beat a good team twice.
I'm glad you made that point. The winning team almost has the disadvantage of being lulled into a false sense of we can do what we did last time and still win. No, you can't. I think the losing team has more motivation to come back. And if you're for Oklahoma State, right, you had it in your house the last time. You're coming to Orlando this time. So and for West Virginia, I mean, UCF is just a better team. Again, for our listeners on audio, these last 3 that James is referencing: Baylor, February 28th. That is 2 days as of the time that we're recording this. And then Oklahoma State on March the 3rd. That's a Tuesday. They will be coming to Orlando as well. And then you will travel out to West Virginia on Saturday, March the 6th to finish your season. Again, Baylor, February 28th at 8 p.m. Eastern on FS1. Oklahoma State, March 3rd, Tuesday, March 3rd, 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. And then that last game against West Virginia on March the 6th, Saturday, March the 6th, is at 8 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network. So you only need internet for one of those games. ESPN Plus. The others you should be able to catch on TV. I'm with you. I think that we need to win these games. You just need to win these games. And for what it's worth, UCF has all the talent. I think that Johnny Dawkins, after that win at BYU, he may not win it, but he should win Big 12 Coach of the Year. I think he's a Big 12 coach.
I think he's definitely in consideration. I think that if you're not considering him for what he had last year in terms of what he's turned it into this year, if you're not considering him heavily, then there's something wrong.
Yeah, if they lose the last 3, fine, whatever. But if they win these next 3, that will be a complete and total turnaround. They went 7-13 in conference last year. If they win these last 3, that you go from 7-13 to 12-6. That's actually crazy.
In the hardest basketball conference in the country.
Yeah. Now, if you're wondering why those numbers don't add up, it's because we have the conference tournament numbers to put in from last year as well, too. So that's where 7-13 comes from. You had 20 conference games, and they played, I think, two more games. They had Utah in the first round of the Big 12 tournament, and then they lost to Kansas in overtime in the next game there, 98-94. So, look, man, they may win a couple games in the Big 12 tournament this year, so they have a chance to do even better than, they already have a chance to do. But, I mean, again, coming up one game short of that total when you played 2 conference tournament games last year in just your regular season alone is a crazy turnaround. So if we take the win from Utah out, they were 6-12 at the end of the regular season last year. And
all I can say is
12-6.
So excited to not have to look forward to the Crown tournament this year.
No, man, you and me both, or the NIT or anything that's not the NCAA tournament, man. I'm telling you, I think this team is going to be a really crappy draw. Like if they get in at like an 11 seed or something and you fought your way to a 5 and you have to play UCF, oh my goodness. Like I just ask what you're being punished, what you did in a former life that you're being punished for. This is not a team I'm telling you anybody's going to want to see in the first round of the NCAA tournament. They're going to give you a run for your money, and I expect that they have a good chance of getting out of that first weekend. My money is on UCF to make this Sweet 16. As a matter of fact, I might actually go put some money on it with our friends at FanDuel. I might do it. Give me UCF to get out of the first weekend. So round of 64, round of 32, round of 16. You just got to have one good weekend of basketball to make it to the Sweet 16. That's it. One good weekend of basketball, and you've beat teams that should be in that Sweet 16 already. You beat the Texas Techs. You just beat a BYU. Like you beat a lot of teams. You beat a few teams that people will be betting on to make the Sweet 16. You've done it. So you don't have to be scared. You know you can do it. Man, this is going to be exciting. Look, we're going to go on and get out of here. James Duncan, UCF sports commentator. I want to thank you for joining me on today's show, guys. Check in with us again tomorrow as we talk even more UCF basketball and football right here on Locked On UCF.